You're listening to Business Talk Radio, where we take business to the next level.
Rapping with Dr. Jacalyn connects you with experts from all over the world to help you take charge of your career, your business, and your life. Rap along with us. Visit drjacalyn.com to learn how to become a guest or a sponsor. And now, the doctor is in. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Rapping with Dr. Jacalyn on USA Global TV and also on Business Talk Radio and on a whole bunch of social media platforms. So however you're watching, welcome. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it might be in the world, because we're a worldwide operation now. And Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck is my guest on this special issue of the Business Talk Show. So, Dr. Jacalyn, why don't you come on out?
Hi.
Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck, it has been almost a year now. I think it was last August that you and I got together and started co-hosting some programs, but you'd already been on the air with Business Talk Radio prior to that. And now here you are a year down the road, and there are so many new graphic elements behind you that I figured this could be a great opportunity for you to explain to your audience what the hell is going on. So maybe you can talk about USA Global TV and some of your branding changes and where you see this all headed.
Well, thank you so much, Mr. Cini. And yes, it was actually August 16th, I believe, was our first joint broadcast when we made the leap from Zoom to StreamYard. And so much has happened since then. And I owe a lot of thanks to you because you really believed in me. I remember when I asked you if you would join me and be a co-host, and we had met at another station, and you took that leap with me, and everything progressed from there. So as you know, we started on Business Talk Radio on the phone, then we went to Zoom, and then we went to StreamYard, and since then I learned how to broadcast and produce and direct, and you certainly have been a huge influence in all of that.
Well, it's been my pleasure, and I think one of the cool things about working with you, Dr. Jacalyn, is that you're selfless. I mean, you're the kind of person that really believes that you offer a showcase for other people to shine. So, in a way, and maybe in a humble way, it's my pleasure to give you a chance to talk about what you've done, what you're currently up to, because I know you're taking everything in a different and better direction. Maybe you can talk about the branding. USA Global TV, what is that?
So thank you again for this opportunity. I do want our audience to know that this was really kind of spontaneous. Yes. I'm not used to being on the other side of the screen, so to speak. So yes, so what happened is we have grown so much. So we have between 18 and 20 shows a week. And really because of connections through Clubhouse, the app Clubhouse, and people reaching out to me and making connections and saying, I want to do shows with you, that I've been able to partner with two incredible people who have really changed things up to take us to another level. So that's two wonderful people, Daphne and Steven, and in their own right are both so accomplished at Roar Media Creative and Brand Clever. So USA Global TV is an international platform that we are officially launching January the 10th of 2022. And we will be giving our guests and our presenters and our co-hosts the opportunity to have their presence on many platforms where they can just be able to reach out to other people they wouldn't be able to reach out to before. So in addition, our formatting and our programming is going to really mirror the desire of our audience. And so we are diligently working with our team 70, 80 hours a week, sometimes behind the scenes, really engineering everything.
And you're doing all that in addition to hosting still 20 hours of live stream videos every week. Isn't that right?
Yes, that's correct. And as you know, I'm I'm always standing for our show. So since I'm being interviewed, I decided to take a seat for this one. But it's been quite a journey, and I've learned so much. And Al, as you know, back in February of this year, you came up with the brilliant idea of A Better You, lessons from the best coaches, consultants, and trusted advisors. And you and I worked so well on that, and have a team of people who show up every week. We've actually got 7 shows now. It used to be 4, it's 7 shows a week. And so we were really at a pivotal point of which way should we go. And maybe you'll share with our audience the direction that you decided to go based on what it is you're working on.
I'd be happy to do that. One of the things I want to explore too is how many different hairstyles you've had in the year that you've been on the air, because I think this is number 63 at least.
This is because it's growing out. So
it looks very nice. But a Better You was always conceived as, I mean, if you think about creating a streaming video platform with an international audience, there are people out there with skills and talents in various subjects that have a lot to offer to an audience, and maybe even have an audience that they can share with Dr. Jacalyn's larger audience. And gathering people around, learning something about a specific topic, an area of expertise. It's a great way for people to learn new skills, and a great way for people to present their skills to others. And you make connections that way that really help people realize the promise of the whole idea of the internet, which is creating the kind of global community you've done such a great job creating, which is, and I know that, well, let's talk about the A Better You concept first, because you just mentioned, well, before we got on the program, that you now have 100 episodes of A Better You kind of in the tank.
Coming tomorrow, 100 episodes.
That is amazing. And now it's evolving, and the new iteration of it, the new version of it is going to be called Talking Heads. Is that right?
Yes, it is.
Talk about that. What's different about that?
So, and I want to thank everyone who's presented on this platform, because 100 episodes since February is truly amazing. I listen to people on Clubhouse talk about, I've been broadcasting, or I'm doing a podcast for 5 years, and we just hit 200 episodes. So we hit 100 episodes on A Better You since February. So what's going to be different? As we started this out, Al, you know that I was in my corporate career for my whole career, and I retired last year, March the 6th, and without any experience and really not having any idea that I actually be doing this, started broadcasting and producing and directing and hosting this platform. So as the platform has grown, we've obviously grown, and the programming has grown, the reach has grown, the level of interest has grown. So we actually have a wait list of people who are interested in being part of Talking Heads. So what is the difference? Talking Heads will be only the best experts in the world in their field. So there will be a screening process people go through to make sure that they are, going to be a good fit, and that we're a good fit for them. We don't, claim to be a great fit for everybody, but we want to make sure that when we tell our audience that this is an expert in design, that this is one of the top experts who has a great following, or maybe has is peer reviewed. So that's one of the differences. The other difference is that we're going to have a much larger reach, and you're going to be seeing and experiencing some things that you might not have up to date. So it's sort of like, Al, you and I put this together, we worked together and helped it to grow, and now we're growing to the next level.
That's pretty amazing. And, I do want to highlight, we have Adam Duval who's saying hello from the UK.
Hi, Adam.
One of the many new places that you're exploring now and with USA Global TV. And so you'll be getting experts in from all over the world on various subjects. That'll be the Talking Heads platform. And you mentioned, I think, before the program, that you'll have vertical topic areas, hunting and fishing maybe, or acting, or engineering, whatever. And you're looking for people that are specifically well known as being experts in those fields to be talking heads on USA Global TV. Is that right?
Exactly. And as you can see from this slide, and if you're listening on the radio, basically everybody has a story. And I think this is the time, especially with what's going on in the world, we need stories more than ever, true stories, true news. And we want to hear from people who are experts in their field. And so when you look at a better you, in a lot of ways, Al, when we first talked about bringing this to life, we were looking at coaches, consultants, and trusted advisors. So we're still looking at that, but then we're taking it to include other people. So it's not just, Al, you mentioned to me that there's 6 million coaches on LinkedIn, right? So it's not just your traditional coach or consultant or trusted advisors. It's really truly experts across all verticals, and having them come forward and share their expertise in, bite-sized learning.
Giving them access to your audience, I think, is a very generous thing to do. And I want to point out something else. I know, actually, I'm covering my face more than yours with this, but there are a couple of things that are available now for people who want to catch up on your journey. You mentioned that you've been doing Rapping with Dr. Jacalyn, various programs for a little over a year now. And a lot of that is chronicled in your book, Behind the Green Screen, which people can get on Amazon. So I'm putting that slide up so that people know they can go and order it. They should go and order a copy and learn how you did it. But tell us a little bit about what you cover in that book.
Al, you're so good. You're such a natural interviewer. Thank you. So Behind the Green Screen really details my journey of how and why I left the corporate world. And I always like to say that it's not for the reasons that people would think. I'm not going to tell you what they are because I'd love for you to buy the book over on Amazon. But it also details if you are interested in starting a live broadcast, which is not the same thing as a podcast. If you're interested, I give you check sheets and lists and everything that you need to do so that you can start your own live broadcast. And I like to just give a little differentiating between a podcast and a live broadcast. So if you're going to do a podcast, for example, it's not going to be scheduled in advance, probably, where all these different platforms are expecting you to go live at a certain time. Also, you're probably not going to be seen. So you can show up in your car, or you could be wherever, at a beach, at a swimming pool. But when we're doing a live broadcast, it's totally professional. It's on time. And we expect you to show up in the highest level of professionalism, representing you and your branding. So in this book, I detail how it is that you can do that. In addition, I've got a directory of people, professionals that I've worked with who have helped me get to where I am today. And it's sort of like the black book of experts when it comes to a number of fields that I've engaged with.
That's great. I mean, offering to share your audience with people who qualify now as talking heads, who are experts in certain fields. I know I want to bring up this comment from Adam. He was on a program with you, I guess, earlier.
Yes, I interviewed him. Yes.
And he's excited about being a talking head, I guess, on the subject of mental health.
Yes, I interviewed Adam and his wife on In the Name of Love, and they've got together, they've got quite a story that they shared. So Adam definitely is the type of person, he and his wife, who have relevant content. They've experienced some significant things in their lives, and they've been able to take what they went through and then help parlay that to help other people in their journeys.
Well, that's great. And we've got more to talk about after this break. I'm calling for a break. We're 15 minutes in, and I guess our plan was to run for about 30 minutes today. But when we come back after the break, Dr. Jacalyn, I want to explore a little bit more the difference in professionalism between a podcast and a streaming video broadcast, because I think that differentiation, as indicated by everything you do to create the presence you create, is a very important differentiation to make. And so people, before they step up to the bar, they ought to get to know a little bit about you and what your standards are, because it's not just about showing up in your pajamas and saying whatever comes to mind. You've got to think it through, and you've got to plan it. And we'll talk about that professionalism after this break. And Dr. Jacalyn, you can roll whatever commercials you feel are appropriate.
All right, let's take a look at this. We'll be right back. Stay with us here on USA Global TV and Business Talk Radio with our host for today, Mr. Al Cini, and his guest, Dr. Jacalyn.
Dr. Jacalyn.
Hey everybody, my name is Ralph Graves Jr. I'm the host of the Ralph Graves Jr. Show, and I want to invite you to pick up my book, Unstoppable. I wrote a book called Unstoppable. It's 7 universal laws that will transform how you pursue and achieve success. The one thing that my 20 years of law enforcement has taught me is that no matter who you are, we are all governed by universal laws, like gravity. But in this book, we're going to talk about laws like the law of forgiveness, laws like the law of control, the law of intelligent practice, the law of expectancy. I was able to see how those, no matter what their background was, those who identified and treated these laws with respect, they were able to go on and lead successful lives. So pick up this book, and you can go ahead and pick it up at Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com, RalphGravesJr.com, where anywhere where fine books are sold. Thank you.
There are 7.7 billion people on Earth today. 40% of these people are under the age of 25. Young adults are the most fertile mission field in the world today. In Scripture, we see Jesus pouring his life into 12 young adults who he equipped to change the world and all of history. Like Jesus, we believe that the best approach to reach the world with the gospel is to invest in young, emerging leaders and equip them to build disciple-making movements. Concentric is the notion of surrounding and sharing a common center. Our center is the model and strategy of Jesus for both leadership development and ministry formation. As a global alliance, we provide equipping in biblical leadership based on Jesus' example in the New Testament. Jesus modeled for us how to make disciples that reproduce. Focusing on leadership development is key to creating movements that spread the gospel and Jesus' disciple-making strategy to young leaders around the globe. Our Ministry Alliance partners are actively equipping leaders and building movements of multiplication that reproduce the life of Christ. Join us today to equip young leaders with Jesus' strategy that will change cities and nations.
The session that we had with BCAT was really entertaining and enlightening. We were able to put together some very specific steps that we as individuals can take, and it was really fun to all come together and see sort of where we're going as a team and how we can all get there together.
We had a tremendous experience with the BCAT partners. One of the challenges that we have as an organization is to make sure that we have the right people in the right chairs doing the right thing. To do that well, you have to have synergy. You can try to dream up ways to make sure that your group does that, or you can rely on experts. We would recommend BCAT partners to anybody who's looking to take their organization to the next level.
Academy Sedan and Limo is a full-service transportation company serving the Philadelphia metropolitan area with full knowledge of the New York City, Baltimore, and Washington, D.C. areas. We pride ourselves on being the most dependable, conscientious company in the industry. Our always on-time service and dependable pricing make us the company to call for any event or occasion. Our vehicles can accommodate any size party for any occasion. Our vehicles range from four-door sedans to SUVs to minivans to limo buses to full-size tour buses and can accommodate groups of 2 to 100. We offer airport shuttle service or over-the-road service without limitation regarding mileage or time, and no drive is too long or too far. So if you find yourself in need of transportation of any type with any vehicle, give us a call at 610-842-4564 and let us show you what a real transportation company can do for you.
Use code ACADEMY2020 to receive 20% off your first 3 rides, including parking and tolls.
You're listening to Business Talk Radio, where we take business to the next level.
Welcome back to Rapping with Dr. Jacalyn on USA Global TV and Business Talk Radio. My name is Al Cini, and joining me today is my very special guest, Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck, who is also generally the host and definitely the founder of everything Rapping with Dr. Jacalyn. And Dr. Jacalyn, before the break, we talked about the difference between a professional streaming video program and your typical podcast. And all I have to do is look at you for 5 minutes to see that you work on your hair, you worry about what you're wearing, you worry about your backdrop, you fret over whether the green screen is working or not. I mean, perfection is an important part of your product, your brand. Isn't that true?
Yes, Alan, thank you for noticing that. I was taking offense different times in the last year when people would say, "Oh, I'm excited to be on your podcast." And I found myself saying, "It's not a podcast." And, people would say, "Well, what's the big deal? What's the difference? Everybody has a podcast, and there are a lot of podcasts." But there is definitely a difference between a live broadcast. Right now, live, this green screen could fall over, these headphones could fall off, which has happened before. Anything can happen, and there's no editing. Also, there's a certain level of professionalism that you have to have when you think about, there are certain platforms that the schedule is set in advance that we're going to go live on at a certain time. And if you don't go live within so many minutes, you are canceled in many of the cases. So a podcast, I've been on other people's podcasts, and I've actually been surprised at how different the experience was than it is on this platform. Meaning, many times there's no introduction and there's no sponsorships. It's just two people being on a screen having a conversation. So what people might not be aware of is, even though we stream 3 days a week, there's probably 20, 30 hours of preparation that has to be done in advance to even make that happen.
And, I also want to point out the raw talent. You know how to ask questions. You know how to keep an audience engaged in the topic. You know how to work the board and manage the conversation at the same time. And you do talk about yourself as both the broadcast engineer and the host of the program. I don't think people realize how complicated it is to manage all those graphic elements while engaged in a conversation about what could be a pretty complicated topic. And you do that beautifully. And this is all a setup for a webinar that I know you're offering. And maybe you want to talk about that, because are you going to be covering any of that in the webinar?
No, not specifically. So the webinar, I'm going to tee it up like this. My father was an incredible listener. My dad was brilliant, and he was always researching, and he was, busy. What people say busy now, I hate using that word, but he always had time for me. He would always listen no matter what was going on. And he would really listen, not just, okay, let me do this while you're talking to me. And so throughout my course of my life, I came to be very aware if I'm speaking to someone and I want them to listen, I can hear myself saying, "Hello, are you listening to me? I'm trying to tell you something." And, depending on the situation, typically in personal relationships, maybe in business relationships, the other person might think they're listening. Maybe they're hearing you, but they're not truly listening. And part of what I take pride in doing on this show, there's no script, as you know, is I want to be fully present and listen to what the person's saying. And so then I can follow the flow of the conversation to ask the next question. So many times people get frustrated. They'll contact us for an interview. Can you please send me the script? Can you send me the questions in advance? No, there are no questions in advance, because I'm going to have the research about you, and I'm going to ask one specific question, and then we're going to see where it goes. So, Al, to get back to what you were asking, I have been thinking more and more about what's been going on in the world, and I've been branded the listening mentor, and I've decided to have an online seminar called The Power of Listening. And this is going to be a regular event, and it's going to start off in September on the 16th. This was made by my team in the UK, so it's actually $47, even though the dollar sign is afterwards. And we have 3 options. So 9:30 a.m., 1 p.m., and 7:30 p.m. They are all Eastern Standard Time. So if you are in British summertime, it's just to add 5 hours to that. So we are going to cover the art of listening, what's involved, how you can feel like you're being heard, and how you can be a better listener to other people. So again, it's 90 minutes, and the way people can attend the online seminar is to just go over to my Instagram, to the link in my bio. It's Dr. Jacalyn, and you can go to my link tree and it's right there. We are running an early bird special. So going forward, we will be having more of these, and I will be including other people who are experts in communication strategies, communication, and listening. So thank you for asking, Al.
I'm sorry, Dr. Jacalyn, I wasn't paying attention. Could you repeat all that again for me, please?
You'll have to sign up for the online seminar, Al.
It's obvious they need to do that. No, I think that's wonderful, and it's a very important part of your brand. I think what you described for people, that you don't rehearse the questions in advance, that you start with a good opening question that gives a guest a chance to shine and differentiate themselves, and then follow the conversation after that to see where it goes. I think all the energy of the conversation is there, all the curiosity is there, all the value is there, and you're more likely to get to know somebody when you approach it that way than if you lay it all out in advance according to some kind of a grand plan. I think that's that is a big differentiator between many podcasts, and I think the way you handle Rapping with Dr. Jacalyn. And, I know we're coming up at the end of the program, and normally we ask everybody to take a minute to tell everybody how to reach out and get a hold and talk to them. And we're going to do that in this case too, but you got so much to talk about. I real quick though, before we get there, I know that there is a horizon behind you, behind that cityscape, and over the horizon, there's a future for Rapping with Dr. Jacalyn and USA Global TV. Maybe you can tell us a little bit about your vision for all that.
Yes. So USA Global TV, as you know, is going to be and is already a global platform, but we're going to be bringing other types of formats and other types of programming. So as I mentioned, our team is hard at work, and we have a timeline of things that's deliverables. The first deliverable is the Talking Heads, and that will be launched on the 16th of September, which is right around the corner. And then the official launch of USA Global TV with all the amenities, all the new formatting, and all the programming will be launched on January 10th of 2022. So we do see that there are many opportunities for people who want to be part of our team, people who want to take this incredible journey with us. And Al, you know from being here from the beginning that things just turn around so quickly because we're working so hard and we're working smart. We're working smart, and we're working to make sure that our audience is getting good quality content from people who are really passionate about what they're doing. And we all have one thing in common, which is to help other people.
You're actually kind of a proof point. First of all, Mohammed Korfli, I don't know Dr. Jacalyn, do you know Mohammed? I think
Mohammed's one of my Facebook friends, but I don't know Mohammed personally, no.
Thank you very much for your comment, Mohammed, and thanks for interacting with us on social media. I wanted to say that they used to make jokes. There was a comedian that would make jokes about wagon train trips out west, where we can get there in a couple of hours now on an airplane. It used to take 7 or 8 months to get to California from Boston on a wagon train. And the joke is, by the time you got there, you were all different people. The original people who left weren't the same people that arrived. What really impresses me about your journey, Dr. Jacalyn, is that a lot of the people that are on the bus today are people that you met as you were driving the bus. They hopped on, and you're working with a lot of people that you met along the way. People like Ian and Helena on the Royally Rich Celebrating Great Britain show. And you mentioned Daphne and Stephen, great people that you found through them. And I don't think anybody better exemplifies than you the power of networking, engaged conversation, strength of curiosity, and good listening, which you're going to be covering in your webinar. So before we wrap, this has been a great program. It's been my pleasure to be talking with you. Before we wrap, maybe you can tell everybody where they can go to get more information on what you're doing.
Well, thank you, Al. As I mentioned before, this is a reversal of me being interviewed. So you can go to my website, which is, if I can find my banner, drjacalyn.com. You can email me at jacalyn@drjacalyn.com. And if you would like to be considered to be part of our new incredible platform Talking Heads, then you can also email me at Jacalyn@drjacalyn.com, and we'll set up a time for us to speak. I do want to mention that after this, our next show is A Better You, Lessons from the Best Coaches, Consultants, and Trusted Advisors. And we had a reschedule. So yours truly is presenting my first presentation on the platform, which is how to nail your interview on USA Global TV. Can you imagine?
Could you imagine? It's a perfect topic. And it's coming right up. Is that right? That's the next
coming up 4 p.m. Eastern time, 9 p.m. British Summer Time. So
definitely tune in for that and go find out more about Dr. Jacalyn and what a terrific job you're doing. It is my pleasure to be working with you, and so many of us are blessed by just our interactions with you and our working with you. And keep up the good work. And what have I missed?
I want to say one thing, because again, this wasn't planned. This was spontaneous. And the fact that A Better You, the 100th episode, is taking place this week, I think it has to be said, Al, that you have been a huge part of this journey. And I think people don't understand how much work goes in this. You have your own business. You have your own TV shows that you do, and yet, you made time to do this, the business talk show. You were doing Celebrate Great Britain and also A Better You. And there's only so much a person can do, but the amount of expertise that you've shared with me is incredible. So thank you.
Well, it's been my pleasure, and you're making a difference. And if I can help you do that, that's my job. So thanks, Dr. Jacalyn.
Thank
you.
Working
with you, and thanks all of you for joining us today on Rapping with Dr. Jacalyn, the business talk show. And Dr. Jacalyn and I will be back, but reversed, next Wednesday for another great edition of Rapping with Dr. Jacalyn, the business talk show.
I do want to say one more thing. Anybody who wants to try to book on our show, we are booked through the rest of the year. So email me again. You see Jacalyn@drjacalyn.com. And if it's possible for us to do some type of special event, we'll look at our schedules, or else try to book on another show. But because of the value and the popularity of the show, we are booked till the end of the year. So yes, Mr. Hyatt Ives, 100 is happening tomorrow, and Mariska Duprier and Caroline Heward are presenting. You and I are presenting today, Hyatt, at 4 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. your time. So I'm looking forward to that. Mr. Cini, it's been a pleasure. Can you please tell people how they can get in touch with you? And tell us what you're doing at BCATs, please.
BCAT Partners. A brand and culture alignment toolkit is about aligning the members of a team with their purpose. What we found when we do that is that the needle, employee engagement, goes way up. And as a result, all the other important needles in any business, like profitability and productivity, they all go up too. And needles like turnover and accidents on the job, they tend to go down. So making things better is about aligning people with their purpose, and we have a process for that. That's what BCAT is, Brand and Culture Alignment Toolkit. I can be reached by email at al.cini@getbcat.com, and by phone, we have a toll-free number, 855-999-BCAT. Thanks, Dr. Jacalyn, for the chance to get the word out.
Thank you, Mr. Cini. It's been a pleasure. Thank you for interviewing me. I've really enjoyed it.
Totally mine.
I want to just talk to people a little bit about this book. I don't know if you want to chat with me about it or no.
Oh, sure. Well, yeah, I've got time. I don't know if I could ever do that, but you have. So I'm dying to know how you found the experience.
Well, so just a little backstory, and I always say this, I'm not a paid spokesperson for this book or this process. It's called 75 Hard, A Tactical Guide to Winning the War with Yourself by Andy Frisella. And I go over to the Clubhouse app to Breakfast with Champions. I try to go in at least once in the morning. They've expanded their own, I think, till 8 o'clock at night now. But you have people from all over the world who have accomplished incredible things. And I heard them talking about this book and how how this book was life-changing. So, of course, I always want to push myself to the next level. So I went over to Google. I put this in. I looked it up. And essentially, it is a process for 75 days to really test your mental toughness. And you have to take a picture of yourself, which, can be frightening, let's be honest. And you have to do 2 workouts a day. It doesn't matter when they are, but they have to be at least 2 to 3 hours apart. One of them must be outside. And it's funny, I was reading some of the posts that people put on social media about, oh, it's snowing or it's raining. Do I still have to do it? And of course, the answer was idiot. Of course you have to do it, because that's part of the whole process. It's getting uncomfortable. So you have to have some diet that you pick. It's up to you. It doesn't have to be specific diet, but some, way of eating that's healthy, that doesn't have cheat foods. And you can have alcohol. And also you have to drink a gallon of water, and you have to read 10 pages of a book that is informational, entrepreneurial. It can't be a novel. It's not a magazine. It can't be online. It has to be an actual book. So what I wanted to just share with people is, I thought my big challenge was going to be to stop drinking Chardonnay. So 2.5 years ago, I gave up caffeine, and the only thing I've been drinking is water. And then at night, Chardonnay. Now, there was a period of time I had tomato juice, but that didn't go too well with ulcerative colitis. So anyway, the Chardonnay, giving that up was no big deal. It turns out that drinking the water is the big deal. Why is this? Because you're running to the loo all the time. I mean, seriously, it's insane. It's hard to get anything done. So I said to myself today that I'm exhausted. I'm tired of doing this. And then I thought, well, isn't that the point? That is the point. So we keep persevering, and today is day 5, and I have 70 days left. So what I'm excited about is I ordered from Amazon this electrical, it starts with the days, so I'll program for 75. So I'm so excited because I'll get to see the days coming down, going closer and closer and closer to one day. And I just want to add one thing. A friend of mine I haven't seen or spoken to since the pandemic is going to be in town. I'm on an island, and wanted to meet for a drink. And I said, hey, I'd love to see you, but I don't drink anymore. Imagine that.
Imagine that. But the sparkling water is okay. That's kind of...
No, only regular water.
Only
no lemons, no
water.
Limes. There's no substitutions. It's not do it my way.
Well, listen, there's a real value. I don't know that everybody understands or realizes this, but you are a certified coach.
I am a certified life career coach, and I'm also a certified yoga sculpt teacher, a certified meditation teacher. I forget what else I am. I have a whole list of things, but I just know right now I'm focusing on being lead presenter and hostess.
Nobody appreciates better than you then the importance of setting goals and having the discipline to achieve them. And often that is step by step, including drinking a gallon of water in a day. And those are things that if you set your mind to it, you can do it. And you're living proof of that. So congratulations. But more to the point, congratulations for being Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck and for being on the air for a whole year as of 2 days ago. And it was so impressive. And I guess that's a wrap.
It's a wrap. And thank you again for taking this ride with me, Al. And you have been such an incredible mentor. I mean, the audience doesn't even know how many times you and I have had conversations where people were pushing me around, trying to take advantage of me. And you'd be like, this is not happening. And you even interceded in a situation where people were really trying to take advantage of me. We will not mention who they are. And they showed their true colors. So
they ran for the hills. I mean, I was amazed. I couldn't even get them to talk. They were so horrified. So, yeah.
And they're still out there. Isn't that amazing? They're still out there.
Yeah,
so.
Pretty funny story.
Thank you, Al. It's a pleasure working with you and having you as my friend. So I appreciate it. And we'll look forward to seeing you all at A Better You at 4:00 Eastern time. Hi, it's asking a question about the gallon. The gallon of water, it's not an option. You have to drink it. So basically it clears out your kidneys and it makes you full. So I have to say, I don't feel any thinner. I feel bloated and disgusting. I'm just saying. But I guess it also teaches you that you have to start drinking so much water in the beginning of the day. And then you don't want to be up late trying to chug down half a gallon of water because we know we're going to spend the rest of your night. So I think it's discipline, structure, and a cleansing of your body. I think it's good for your organs. It's good for your skin. I'm not an expert. I'm just saying this is what I think. So,
and you should run an extra 5 or 6 miles a day.
I don't think it's possible unless. Yeah, that's exactly right, Al. All right. Thank you so much for doing this. It's been so much fun. And thank you for a great year. And we'll see you back shortly. Take care. Great. Bye.